What if I told you the biggest lie you're telling yourself right now is that you don't know what to do? I mean, what if the truth isn't that you're confused or stuck or waiting for a sign from the universe, but that you actually know exactly what needs to happen next? And you are terrified of how much clarity it's going to cost you. Welcome back to the show. I apologize right now about my voice. I've been sick and the partially collapsed lung gained some ickiness. And so I had to get a lung flush, but I'm here. And today we're going to have a real deal heart-to-heart conversation about something we all do, but nobody wants to admit. We're going to talk about the art of manufacturing fog. We're talking about how we actively, intentionally, and often brilliantly avoid clarity. Let's get started. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, and I'm your host, Jason. You can catch us on all your favorite platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can also listen to our episodes on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and our awesome home here at Podbean. Folks, remember, we want to hear from you. If you have a show idea, you want to be a guest or just say hi, reach out to us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. It's catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Join the Catalyst community today and be part of something truly transformative. Oh, man, a couple of days in the hospital, but I'm going to give you my best here, folks. Welcome to episode 155. Are you avoiding clarity? Okay, so are we? Because clarity is a beautiful thing when it aligns with our comfort. That's comfort. Oh, I need to be more clear about talking about clarity. So let me get focused, all right? Now, when clarity is aligning with us, it's great. But when it demands change, and when it demands an uncomfortable conversation, a boundary, a massive shift in how we live our lives, sometimes I don't know becomes the safest place on earth. So let's do this. Wherever you are in the world, and thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. We see there's new spots all over the place just popping up, and we really, really appreciate it. Grab coffee, grab a notebook, or if you're walking your dog, do that. But tune your heart in, all right? Let's unwrap why we stay foggy and how to finally stop hiding from what we already know. I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine. We'll call her Angela. Angela is brilliant. She really is. She actually has a podcast of her own. It's called Angela's Living Room. You should check it out. It's really good. I've known Angela for several years. She's a great person. Hopefully I'll get her on her show and we'll have her on mine. So we'll see. We'll see what goes on there. But Angela's the kind of person who can solve anyone else's problem in like 5 minutes. But for 2 years, Sarah would complain to me about her job that we both had working together. But she really would just like not stop complaining about it. And it was draining me. You know, she felt like she was a ghost of herself. And every time we talked, she'd say, I just need to find my passion. I'm just confused about my next career move. And if I knew what my true calling was, I'd leave. I mean, she went through it all. I mean, and we've been through this, something like this. You know, we buy the books, the personality quizzes. We spend all this money on life coaches that help find clarity. And then one night, over a glass of cheap Cabernet, I looked at her and I said, Angela, if a genie showed up right now to offer you an incredible job at a different company, doing exactly what you do now, but with a boss who respected you, would you take it? She didn't even blink an eye. In a heartbeat. Boom. See? Angela didn't lack clarity. She didn't need to find her passion. She knew exactly what the problem was. Her environment. But admitting that means she had to update her resume, face the terror of interviewing, risk rejection, and leave her comfort zone. All things I just had to do recently. Right? But it was way easier to stay in the identity crisis lane because identity crisis feels like a valid excuse to stand still. Confused people don't have to take action. Here's the thing, folks. We mistake the fear of consequences for lack of clarity. And look, I'm not throwing rocks at glass houses here. I am the reigning 2026 champion of that, right? I mean, a few years ago, I was looking at my bank statement knowing I needed to cut back on spending. But instead of just looking at the hard numbers, which is something I absolutely hate to do, what did I do? I decided what I really needed was a complex, multi-tabbed, color-coded Excel spreadsheet budget. And for people who know me, I love color-coded Excel sheets. I'd spend like 3 days color coding my expenses: green for groceries, dark green for dining out, red for emergency. I made it like it was like a work of art. And you know what happened? I got so overwhelmed by this system that I stopped looking at it entirely after a week. I didn't need a spreadsheet, guys. I need to stop buying expensive gadgets at 2 a.m. on Amazon. We've all done it. Clarity was simple. The execution was painful. So I chose complexity to camouflage my unwillingness to change. Some of you guys feel like I'm talking directly to you. Kind of got a chill down your back. Hey, why don't you like and subscribe so you can hear more stuff like this? I think I'm hitting a nerve here. I think I'm hitting a nerve. But prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Right? Let me ask this. Have you ever cleaned your entire house, reorganized your closet, and researched 5 new productivity apps just to avoid sitting down writing the first paragraph of that proposal? Or you rewrite scripts, you doom scroll on TikTok, and you watch a couple of YouTube videos instead of recording your podcast? Hello, the king right here, right? We fool ourselves into thinking that being busy is the same as being clear. It's not. It's not. All it is, folks, is just organized procrastination. I should have procrastinated before I said procrastination. But it's organized procrastination. I could say Worcestershire, but I can't say procrastination. Okay. Oh, man. So there's a fascinating piece of data out there from the behavioral psychology world. Studies show that the human brain processes uncertainty, that's foggy feeling, using the same exact neural pathways it uses to process physical pain. Literally, your brain registers a lack of predictability the same way it registers stubbing your toe. So naturally, our instinct is to avoid pain. But here's the paradox. To avoid the sharp, short-term pain of making the hard choice, we choose dull, chronic ache of permanent ambiguity. Did I say ambiguity? I meant ambiguity. Oh my God, I am all over the place, folks. Talk about not being clear. Well, I told you I was the master of it. I don't know, how you liking the sound of this voice? This husky voice I got going on here. Let me know. Shoot us an email at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know. All right? Hopefully I'm going to get this together so we can finish this podcast. But think about it. Think about it. We choose a lifetime of low-grade anxiety over 2 weeks of acute discomfort. So why don't we do this? Let's break down the wisdom of why we do this. In modern terms, avoiding clarity is a self-defense mechanism disguised as confusion. When you say, I don't know what to do about this relationship, or I don't know how to start this business, what you're actually saying is this. If I admit I know the answer, I have to take the responsibility of the outcome. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we need to be accountable. It often is saying, if I stay confused, nobody can blame me for not moving. You know you've thought about this in your head. Confusion is a beautiful shield. It keeps you safe from failure because if you try and fail, that hurts your ego. But if you never try because you're still figuring it out, well, then you're just a romantic, tortured soul waiting for your moment. Let's channel a little Brené Brown here for a second. I love Brené. Brené always says, clear is kind. Unclear is unkind. Usually we apply that to how we treat other people, like telling your employee exactly what they did wrong instead of dancing around it. But let's turn that mirror inward. Okay? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you being kind to yourself? Remaining unclear about your health, your boundaries, your finances, your desires is an act of self-kindness cut short. It's actually a form of self-sabotage. You're keeping yourself in a holding pattern because you're afraid of the turbulence of takeoff. I mean, let's look at Matthew McConaughey on this vibe. He talks a lot about eliminating the options that destroy us, right? He says that life is just as much about figuring it out and figuring out what we don't want as to what we do want. Sometimes clarity isn't a lightning in a bottle moment that reveals the perfect path. Sometimes clarity is just admitting, well, I know for damn sure I can't keep doing this anymore. And that is enough to start. You don't need to do something big and grandiose. You need to just take a simple step. All right. Have you ever noticed how we seek clarity by asking 45 different people for their opinion? Have you ever noticed that? You're in a dilemma, so you call your mom, your best friend, your coworker, your barista, and that one guy you follow on LinkedIn. You're not looking for advice. You're looking for a consensus that matches what you already want to do so you don't have to feel guilty about doing it. Or, worse, you're looking for someone to tell you what to do so it blows up in your face and you can say, well, Jessica told me that was a good idea. Shout out to all the Jessicas out there carrying away the bad decisions, okay? But seriously, look at the math on this, all right? And you know I'm not a great guy, numbers guy, but think about it. If you spend 5 hours a week worrying about a decision, complaining about a decision, researching alternatives without pulling the trigger over the course of a year, that is 260 hours. 260 hours of your life wasted. That is 6.5 weeks of full-time dedication to stewing up your own manufactured fog. I mean, think about that. What could you do with 6 weeks of focused, clear energy? You can learn an instrument, write a book, or, I don't know, finally figure out how to fold a fitted sheet. Right? And let's be honest about that. That requires a level of clarity science hasn't even reached yet. The point is this. Staying confused is exhausting. It takes way more energy to hold a beach ball underwater than it does to let it pop and deal with it. Fog isn't protecting you from work. Fog is the work, and it's draining your battery to zero. All right. We've diagnosed the problem. We've laughed at our spreadsheets and our 45-person focus group. Now let's talk about how we move the needle. Because I don't want you to just listen to this episode. I want you to feel a little bit out. And then I want you to call back to it. I want you to come back to this episode. All right. And then go right back to your foggy glass house. I want to give you practical, no-nonsense tools you can use today. All right? So if you need to, listen to it again. But don't just listen. Use this. Really take a deep, dark look in yourself. I like to call them brutal self-assessments. But here's a no-nonsense tool that you can use today to get that started. And I call it the gun to the head clarity test. Yeah, brutal self-assessment. Okay? Now, it sounds dramatic, but it's simple. I want you to think about the one area in your life right now where you feel the most confused. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a career move, a financial decision, or a creative project. Got it in your mind? Okay, now, close your eyes as if you were driving. Close your eyes as if you were driving. I hope people caught that. All right. If you're driving, don't close your eyes. Outside of that, everyone else. Can I have the church come together and close their eyes? Thank you so very much. All right. Now, imagine someone is walking up to you, completely neutral, and says, you have to make this decision right now in the next 3 seconds. You must choose a direction or everything you love will disappear. 3, 2, 1. What was the first thought that flashed in your mind? Was that a gut reaction? That's your answer, folks. That's clarity. It was there the whole time, sitting right underneath layers of fear, obligation, guilt, and what will they think? So again, for those in the cheap seats, all right, close your eyes, and I want you to picture someone walking up to you, someone you've never seen before, and they say, you have to make this decision right now in the next 3 seconds. You must choose a direction or everything you love disappears. 3, 2, 1. What was the first thing that flashed through your mind? What was the first thing you saw? Was that a gut reaction? There you go. Now, your homework today is not to fix the whole problem. You got to take baby steps. Simply write down that 3-second answer on a piece of paper. Look at it, own it. You don't have to act on it this very second, but you have to stop lying to yourself that you don't know what it is. You see, folks, clarity doesn't require you to have the next 10 steps figured out. It just requires you to have the courage to acknowledge step number 1. Stop waiting for fog to clear. Fog doesn't lift on its own. You walk out of it by taking a step. So take that step. Be bold, be brave, be daring, and take the step. Folks, I want to thank you so much for sitting with me with this uncomfortable truth. If this episode hits a little close to home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who needs it. Take a listen again. And let's help each other step into the light. And as always, keep showing up. The world needs you. Like and subscribe to this podcast for more motivational content. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok for even more inspiration. And if you're ready to rethink the way you handle tough decisions, relationships, and life's tensions, pick up my book, The Ways of Compromise. It's out now. It's designed to make you see things differently. Thank you so much for listening to episode 55 of the Catalyst Motivation Podcast. We look forward to seeing you next time for episode 156. Go be great.